Three, two, one. Ajay sir, please.
Dear friends, welcome to the webinar for the launch of InCred Financial Services Limited public issue of secured, rated, listed, redeemable, non-convertible debentures. I, Ajay Manglonia, representing JM Financials, welcome the esteemed speakers from InCred Financial Services Limited, Mr. Bhupinder Singh, Whole-time Director and Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Vivek Bansal, Whole-time Director and Chief Financial Officer, and from the other lead manager, InCred Capital Wealth Portfolio Managers Private Limited, Mr. Hitesh Mandot, Managing Director. Mr. Bhupinder Singh is the founder of the InCred Group. Prior to InCred, he co-headed the investment banking and securities division of Deutsche Bank. For the Asia Pacific region, with a US dollar 3 billion top line. In his role, he managed the bank's fixed income, equities, and investment banking division. Mr. Vivek Bansal has several years of experience in the field of banking and finance. He was previously associated with Yes Bank, where he worked from 2011 to 2018. Prior to Yes Bank, Mr. Bansal worked with Fidelity Investments and a Standard Chartered Bank. He is a chartered accountant and CFA. InCred Financial Services Limited is a non-deposit taking systematically important NBFC registered with the RBI. It caters to the lower middle class to middle class Indian households for their personal finance needs like education loan, personal loan. It also offers secured and unsecured business loans to the small businesses, secured loan to K-12 Indian schools for their expansion plan, supply chain financing, lending to profitable financial institutions and microfinance companies, and escrow-backed lending through its SME vertical. In the June 30th, 2023 and March 31st, 2023, the AUM of company was 6,483 crores and 6,062 crores respectively. Company also maintains a healthy capitalization and low leverage balance sheet, which enables it to maintain a healthy financial position. As on 31st March 2023, its capital adequacy ratio was 33.7% on a standalone basis, as against the statutory minimum capital adequacy of 15% prescribed by RBI in terms of their asset side. Company offers consumer loans up to 10 lakh with a contractual tenure up to 44 months. As on June 30, 2023 and March 31, 2023, its personal loan business had an AUM of 2,881 crores and 2,550 crores respectively. Further, in respect of education loan, company offers a student loan up to rupees 1 crore with a tenure of 180 months. In MSME loans, company offers anchor and escrow-backed business loans and also lends to financial institutions. Company provides anchor-backed business loans up to rupees 10 crore with tenors up to 60 months. Talking about financials, InCred's total income for the 3 months period ended June 30th, 2023 was 272 crores. Further, profit for the 3 months period ended June 30th, 2023 amounted to rupees 63 crore. Its profit for the fiscal 2023 on a standalone basis amounted to 121 crores. Talking about the public issue, InCred Financial Services Limited public issue of secured, rated, listed, redeemable, non-convertible debenture for amount aggregating to rupees 300 crores with a base issue size of 150 crore and a green issue option of 150 crore is opening on Wednesday, which is in the next week immediately after Dussehra, October 25th, 2023, and is scheduled to close on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. A clear 10 working days. However, the issuer has the option to early close the issue anytime in this period once it gets the expected subscription, subject to minimum issue period of 3 working days by publishing 1 day's notice in the newspapers. Allotment shall be on first come first served basis. Issue is rated CRISIL A plus stable by CRISIL Rating Limited. It offers NCD under 3 options, 3 tenors of 18 months, 24 months, and 36 months with monthly, quarterly, and annual interest payment across the various series. There are total 5 series. The The NCD offers attractive coupons with a coupon in the range of 9.48% to 10.3% across the 5 series. I earnestly appeal to all our partners to reach out to the maximum number of investors in all categories and let them have this opportunity to invest in such attractive offering. We have allocated 45% retail investors reservation up to 10 lakh rupee application size, another 40% for high net worth individuals above rupees 10 lakhs, for corporates and 10% and the balance 5% for the institutional investors. The issue also provide option to retail individual investors bidding up to rupees 5 lakh through UPI. May I now request Mr. Bhupinder Singh to take us through the presentation and tell us more in detail about the business.
Thank you, Ajay. Ajay, before I do that, थोड़ा सा summary देंगे कौन-कौन है call पे? Be very useful for me to understand. Ajay, you're on mute.
So from the company side, you and Vivek Bansal are there with us.
Yeah.
From the LM side, I am there. And we have a host of people who have joined us on the webinar through the YouTube channel. I don't have a count as of now, but there are hundreds of people.
And खास करके एक स्टेट से हैं, गुजरात से ज़्यादा हैं आज?
It's a mix of from the entire country. So Western part is obviously going to be the larger ones. Yeah.
मुझे somehow कहा गया था गुजरात से ज़्यादा हैं. It holds a special place in my heart. मैं 2 साल पढ़ा था वहाँ पे. Some of the best days of my life, 97, 99. I went to Vastrapur mein, those who are from Ahmedabad will know I am Ahmedabad mein. But very good to connect with everyone. Thank you, Ajay. मैं quick introduction देता हूँ अपना. I'll talk a little bit about the deal and the company, and then we have our CFO and whole-time director Vivek Bansal, who will take it from there. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are so glad to have all of you here to listen to our story. We are really excited about our story. 7 साल हो गए. Still feels like a very young company. उतने जितने उत्साह से शुरू करी थी आज भी वैसे ही चल रही है. But in the meantime, in these 7 years, we've come a very long way in terms of what we've achieved on our balance sheet, our P&L. So while progress बहुत सारा हुआ है, we still care passionately about forming new partnerships and alliances and relationships. तो उसी spirit के साथ ये आज call है. आप सबका support चाहिए इस issue को successful बनाने में. I know many of you participated in the last one. That was a raving success, and we're hoping इस बार भी उतना ही होगा और उससे ज़्यादा भी होगा. So personal background, I started this in 2016. As I said, 7 साल हो गए. इसके पहले मैं डॉयचे बैंक में था 16 साल, लंदन और सिंगापुर में. इंडिया भी चलाता था वहाँ सिंगापुर के ऑफिस के थ्रू. सो इंडिया का एक्सपोजर करीब 20-22 साल का है और इंक्रेड का 7 साल का. मैं भोपाल से हूँ ओरिजिनली. दैट्स वेयर आई ग्रो अप. इधर उधर मूव हुए काफ़ी. फादर कोल इंडिया में थे तो हर 2-3 साल में अलग अलग सिटीज़ में रहना होता था. But mostly grew up in Bhopal. And now Bombay is home. I live here with my wife and 2 kids. So company का थोड़ा बताता हूँ. InCred Finance करीब 7 साल में हमने 3 प्रोडक्ट सेगमेंट्स में फोकस किया है. कंज्यूमर लोन, एजुकेशन लोन एंड MSME लोन. और तीनों में काफ़ी डीप टर्म वी यूज इज डोमेन नॉलेज काफ़ी बन गई है. एंड सिर्फ 7 साल में नहीं बनी है. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल वी हैव आर इंडस्ट्री वेटरन्स जो 10, 15, 20 साल से कई प्रोडक्ट्स में. तो एक पर्टिकुलर स्कूल लोन्स वाला बिजनेस है हमारा. उसमें तो दोनों स्कूल एंड एजुकेशन लोन आई शुड से स्टूडेंट्स को भी जो देते हैं, दोनों में we have people who actually started the industry almost in the country. Student loans में क्रेडिला करके कंपनी है, HDFC की सब्सिडरी है. तो वहाँ जिन्होंने शुरू किया था वो सब InCred आ गए थे 2016 में. एंड सिमिलरली एजुकेशन लोन में जो 2 बेस्ट कंपनीज थी वहाँ से लोग आ गए थे. एंड द सेम पीपल हैव बीन विद अस through the journey over the 7 years. Consumer loan में हमारे पास जो टीम है सब टॉप प्लेसेस से है. 5 साल से स्टेबल टीम, एक्सिस, कोटक, बजाज एटसेट्रा. लेकिन जो लीडर हैं वो बहुत ही बढ़िया एक फर्म है, कैपिटल वन, ग्लोबल फर्म है. रिस्क और एनालिटिक्स में ऑलमोस्ट नंबर 1 इन द वर्ल्ड. तो वहाँ से पृथ्वी चंद्रशेखर हु रन्स दैट बिजनेस केम ओवर इन 2017 और बहुत बढ़िया बॉटम अप ग्राउंड अप पूरा बनाया है रिस्क एंड एनालिटिक्स. उस बिजनेस में एनालिटिक्स एंड न्यू एज टेक्निक्स का काफी बहुत बड़ा वो रहता है, इम्पैक्ट बहुत ज्यादा. सो सक्सेस जो है वो आप देखेंगे व्हेन आई टॉक टू दैट बिजनेस काफी डिपेंडेंट है ऑन हाउ गुड योर प्रोसेसेस, योर बैक एंड, your risk analytics and your collections in particular is, and that is where we have focused in building our consumer loan business. And third segment is the vast MSME segment जिसमें हमने 4-5 areas pick किए हैं और उनमें खूब deep चले गए. मैंने schools की बात की जो education और MSME के बीच में बैठता है. उसके अलावा we are the largest lender to takeaway restaurants. We do it through Swiggy and Zomato, a partnership with them. वो बहुत बढ़िया business रहता है. उसमें हम loan जो देते हैं उसकी repayment customer के through आती है. Tripartite arrangement होता है. So when if you as a customer order on Swiggy or Zomato, आपने 1000 रुपए भरा तो उसमें 1000 रुपए will come to InCred, हमारे पास आएगा. उसमें से हम 200 या 250 रुपए जो Swiggy Zomato की फी होगी we'll pass it on to them, and बचे हुए 750-800 रुपए में we'll deduct our EMI and बाकी बचा हुआ हम रेस्टोरेंट को देते हैं. तो इसको आप ध्यान से समझेंगे तो एक तरीके से हमको इसको बोलेंगे रेवेन्यू में से हमारा रीपेमेंट आ रहा है, which is very interesting. उससे हमारा रिस्क बहुत सुपीरियर हो जाता है. नॉर्मल केस में क्या होगा, अगर आपने बैंक की तरह लेंड किया है तो आपका रेस्टोरेंट के प्रॉफिट में से मिलेगा अपना EMI, तो उसमें हमारा जो है काफी एज हो जाता है. एज एन एग्जांपल वी आर आल्सो द लार्जेस्ट लेंडर ऑन फ्लिपकार्ट, Amazon. तो काफी अच्छे नीश एरियाज बन गए. द की पॉइंट आई वाज मेकिंग अर्लियर कि डीप डोमेन नॉलेज बन गई है इन 6 से 7 सेगमेंट. हर एरिया में we understand not just lending but the dynamics of that particular segment, what's driving supply demand, credit की workflow पूरी क्या है, कहाँ से पैसा आ रहा है, कहाँ जा रहा है, and therefore have created a highly differentiated multi-product model. And this is very important as you think about investing in this NCD. I think if I can suggest, मेरे ख्याल में सबसे एक important चीज होती है, 3-4 हैं, बट सबसे एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है कि बिजनेस मॉडल में कैसे आपका रिस्क मिटिगेट हो रहा है, और वो हमारे मॉडल में है. बिकॉज 7 प्रोडक्ट है, एक ही प्रोडक्ट हो, अगर आप MFI कर रहे हैं आंध्रा में, कुछ भी हो जाए, जब क्राइसिस आया तो आया, कितनी भी अच्छी इंटेंट हो, कितने भी अच्छे बिजनेस प्रोसेसेस हो, टफ टाइम तो आएगा ही लेंडर्स के लिए. तो ऐसे कुछ ना कुछ कहीं ना कहीं कभी चल सकता है. हर 5-10 साल में एक ना एक साइकिल आती है हमारे बिजनेस में. इन आर बिजनेस मॉडल 7 प्रोडक्ट है ना, और हमारा 30-40% तो इक्विटी बफर रहता है, और हमने 20% का कवरेंट दिया है, तो वहां से आपको प्रोटेक्शन मिल रहा है इक्विटी बफर से. लेकिन उसके अलावा इनहेरेंट इन दिस बिजनेस मॉडल व्हिच इज कॉल्ड अ मल्टी प्रोडक्ट बिजनेस मॉडल, दूसरा मॉडल होता है मोनोलाइन सिंगल प्रोडक्ट. तो इन दिस बिजनेस मॉडल व्हाट इज इनहेरेंट इज प्रोटेक्शन प्रोवाइडेड टू लेंडर्स लाइक योरसेल्फ, पीपल ऑफ द डेट स्टैक जो बोलते हैं, जो आप हमारे को बॉन्ड दे रहे हैं, उन लोगों के लिए इनहेरेंट स्ट्रेंथ है इस बिजनेस मॉडल की, व्हिच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अप्रिशिएट. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे जाते हैं. तो कैसे ये बिजनेस सक्सेसफुल होता है, इसके 3-4 चीजें हैं. मैंने एक डोमेन नॉलेज की बात की, दैट इज द नंबर 1 थिंग कि सारे 6-7 प्रोडक्ट में वी डोंट ट्रीट लेंडिंग कि बस लेंडिंग एक चीज है. भाई कोई भी आप स्पेसिफिक प्रोडक्ट पे जा रहे हैं, यू हैव टू हैव डीप इनसाइट्स ऑन हाउ टू मैनेज द बिजनेस फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट. तो वो फर्स्ट स्लाइड पे मैंने कवर किया था कि हमारी हर प्रोडक्ट में अलग अलग डोमेन नॉलेज बन गई है. सेकेंड की थिंग आईड से that defines our success is our culture. The term we use is our core DNA और ethos of risk management. हमारा मानना ये है, विवेक और मेरा, कि एंड पूरी टीम का मैं कहूँगा 1500 लोग हैं अक्रॉस 40 सिटीज. आप किसी से भी InCred में बात करेंगे और पूछेंगे सक्सेस का सबसे नंबर 1 मैंट्रा क्या है, तो जवाब आएगा कि फोकस ऑन रिस्क. ग्रोथ आ जाती है, इंडिया में अपॉर्चुनिटी इतनी बड़ी है, फॉर एवरी लोन वी वांट टू हैंड आउट ना 10 लोग अवेलेबल होते हैं फेसबुक पे, गूगल पे, चैनल पार्टनर्स में, स्विगी में, इधर उधर. वो सक्सेस का फैक्टर नहीं है. सक्सेस इज डिटरमिन्ड बाय कितने अच्छे आपके इंटरनल प्रोसेसेस हैं, उसको 99% स्टिक कर रहे हैं प्रोसेस को कि 100.0000 एज वी डू. आपका कलेक्शंस कितना अच्छा, इजी टू लेंड, उसको वापस लाने में आपके प्रोसेसेस कितने स्ट्रांग हैं. तो वो रिस्क का पूरा जो DNA है, इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट आई वांटेड टू मेक ऑन दिस स्लाइड, वो बहुत स्ट्रांग है, वो फाउंडेशन है, नींव है. दैट इज वेयर वी इन्वेस्टेड ऑल आवर टाइम. 2016 से लेके 2019-20 तक हमने दिन रात वही बनाया, दिन के 16 घंटे लगा के, कि प्रोसेस को कैसे डेली इंप्रूव करते चलें. देयर इज अ टर्म वी यूज इंटरनली, इट्स कॉल्ड कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट, कि भाई हर दिन आके क्या हम, बिजनेस तो चल ही रहा है जो चल रहा है, उसके अलावा प्रोसेस में हम क्या छोटा सा चेंज कर सकते हैं कि वो थोड़ी सी इंप्रूव हो जाए, ताकि रिस्क जो है वो कोर रहे. दैट हैज बीन आवर बिग फोकस. और ये सारा पॉसिबल है थ्रू टेक्नोलॉजी. वी हैव एन इन-हाउस टीम इन बैंगलोर, द टेक्नोलॉजी हब इन द कंट्री, वाइटफील्ड में, एक्सक्यूज मी, करीब 85-90 people, and that's where all the magic happens. And technology हर चीज में apply होती है, and how the customers engage with us, उनका जो app होता है, website होती है, to the risk part, जो risk का मैं बोल रहा था इतना important है, वो भी पूरा technology बनाती है, कैसे risk को measure करना है, price करना है, उसके बाद collect कैसे करना है, सब technology से related है. And finally back end, सारी operating efficiency जो आती है, जिसकी वजह से profit बढ़ता है, because every time we grow the business by 1x, we don't hire 1x more people, ना technology के through हो रहा है. एक example देता हूँ, करीब 3 साल पहले हम लोग करीब 1000 लोन महीने के करते थे, 4 साल पहले हो गया, अब तो 2019 में, तो करीब 100 लोग थे ऑपरेशंस में टू प्रोसेस द लोन. आज हम लाख से ज्यादा लोन कर रहे हैं महीने के, अभी भी वही 100 लोग हैं ऑपरेशन, बिकॉज टेक्नोलॉजी हैज प्रोवाइडेड द ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. तो इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड फाइनल पॉइंट आई मेक इज एक्सपीरियंस टीम का तो मैंने बोल दिया था. बोर्ड जो है उसका स्ट्रॉन्ग कल्चर ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस, वेरी वेरी इंप्रेसिव बोर्ड. And that is something we take pride in. कि 99.99% doesn't work. 100.00 clean and clear होना चाहिए. And even when no one is watching, our processes, our corporate governance is 100.00. That is our promise to you. Thank you. We'll move to the next slide. So ये मैंने थोड़ा तो कवर कर लिया था, but 5 से 6 प्रोडक्ट हैं. मैंने बताया पर्सनल लोन एक बिग पार्ट है, जिसमें यूज ऑफ प्रोसीड्स टिपिकली रहता है, थिंग्स लाइक मैरिज इन द फैमिली, डेथ इन द फैमिली, कोई रूफ में लीकेज हो रहा है, इस तरह की चीजें होती हैं. स्मॉल टिकट्स, इसमें करीब 60-70-80 हज़ार के करीब टिकट साइज होता है. लाख सवा लाख भी आता है, 50 रुपए भी आता है. एंड टिपिकल जो इसका हमारा नीश एरिया, जिसकी वजह से हमारी बहुत सक्सेस आती है, इज बिकॉज वी कैन टर्न इट अराउंड वेरी क्विकली. बिकॉज अगर वो 4-6 हफ्ते उसको वेट करना पड़े किसी पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक में, तब तक तो वो नीड जो है वो पूरी होने का चांस खत्म हो जाता है. सो वी मूव वेरी क्विकली. रिस्क प्रोसेसेस हमारे बड़े स्ट्रांग हैं, येट बिकॉज ऑफ द अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ डिजिटल डेटा, डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट जिसको बोलते हैं, ऑफ कस्टमर्स टुडे ऑन द मोबाइल फोन, वी कैन टेक डिसीजंस क्विकली. तो ये बहुत अच्छा बिजनेस है हमारा. स्टूडेंट लोन्स इज समथिंग वी केयर पैशनेटली अबाउट. एजुकेशन कंट्री में इतना इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है. सो दिस इज इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स गोइंग टू अमेरिका मोस्टली फॉर द स्टेम डिग्रीज. बहुत बढ़िया बिजनेस है. स्टूडेंट्स ऑलवेज रीपे ऑन टाइम, जॉब्स लग जाती हैं साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंजीनियरिंग, मैथमेटिक्स के बाद. एंड ये 0 डिफॉल्ट के ऑलमोस्ट चलता है. 0.1 बजट करते हैं हम लोग. बहुत बढ़िया बिजनेस है. फॉर अस वी द थर्ड लार्जेस्ट. क्रेडिला 1 है जो मैं बता रहा था पहले, अवांस करके एक कंपनी है, वो 2 है और हम थर्ड आ जाते हैं इसमें. स्कूल एंड लैब, एमएसएमई के बाकी 3 हैं. तो एमएसएमईज में हमने 4-5 सेगमेंट पिक किए हैं. ऑलरेडी कवर्ड द एंकर एंड एस्क्रो, मैंने स्विगी जोमेटो की बात की, फ्लिपकार्ट की बात की. स्कूल्स इज अनदर गुड सेगमेंट. किसी के 50 स्कूल हैं टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटी में, 5 नए स्कूल ऐड करने हैं, तो करीब 1 करोड़ का लोन हो गया. कोलैटरल आ जाएगा आपके पास, पूरा स्कूल की प्रॉपर्टी, स्टूडेंट्स की फी करके फ्यूचर एस्क्रो हो जाता है. सो वेरी गुड बिजनेस. वी बीन वन ऑफ द पायनियर्स. मैंने बताया था टीम जो आई थी 7 साल पहले, they had been doing it for 10 years in 2 other NBFCs. So massive experience वाली टीम है, and we do it very very well. And finally last vertical MSME, हम छोटे-छोटे NBFCs और MFIs और fintechs को भी देते हैं. तो प्रमोट होता है. InCred of 6 years ago, उनकी भी ग्रोथ होगी. And secondly, we also sometimes co-create product, learn from each other. वो लोग भी वही रिटेल कर रहे हैं जो हम कर रहे हैं, तो उनसे सीख लिया साथ में धीरे-धीरे and grow together. So this is the mix of our products. As I said, diversified mix, very important to understand and appreciate. Gives us great protection in particularly in tough times. अगर कोई tough period आएगा, एक प्रोडक्ट में मुसीबत आ भी गई, तो 2-3% एक्स्ट्रा किसी एक प्रोडक्ट में बढ़ भी गया, तो 6 प्रोडक्ट में इम्पैक्ट आपका इतना कम आएगा that as a lender you don't have to worry about that at all. We'll move to the next slide. Numbers का है. Why don't I hand it over to Vivek Bansal, our CFO. Vivek, over to you.
Thank you, Bhupi. I think Bhupi covered some of the important aspects of our business, which is the use of technology, operating leverage as a result of that, risk management, which is core ethos of how we operate. And along with that, I think collections framework, which he spoke about, that we focus a lot on that. Now, all that you will actually see reflected on this slide. Our NPA numbers, which are gross and net NPAs, have been very stable around these levels. Even during a period of COVID, which was probably one of the worst periods for any lender, wherein about 50% of the people took moratorium for some period of time, our credit cost actually was about 4.1%, which was a worst case scenario. And I think Bhupi was alluding to the point that in a scenario where one product probably gets a higher credit cost and there are other products which can cover up for that, I think that was reflected during COVID period as well, because we didn't have credit losses in schools, we didn't have credit losses in supply chain, we didn't have credit losses in MFI, right? It was only the personal loan which was impacted a little bit, and the restaurant business, right? So I think that has been time tested during the worst period of COVID. Looking at the AUM, we are about 7,500 crore now in September. What you see on this slide is June numbers. We are shade below 7,500. Our net worth continues to be strong, closer to about 2,600. Profit before tax, what you see here is for 1 quarter. Now, as a context, last full year profit we had was 207 crore profit before tax, and a year prior it was 48 crores. Right, so 48 crore for a full year. Now we are like 1.5 times of that in just 1 quarter. Right, this is the power of operating leverage in the business we have built. Bhupi gave you an example on ops team, that when we were dispersing 1,000 loans versus where we are today, that team hasn't changed in terms of numbers largely. Right, technology team doesn't change as much. There are many other teams which actually don't change, and on top of that, the senior management which was recruited was for a particular scale. And in our internal discussions, and what we used to always tell everyone was that magic number was about 5,000 crore, right? And once we hit that, that is where our operating leverage started kicking in. And I think historical numbers give you a lot of insight. A lot of you look at many issues, you compare with other issuers. I think what is important to look at is history of the company, which is coming out with the issue as well. So peer review is very important, and along with that, a history of numbers, because history tells you whether we have delivered and we can then potentially deliver or not. If we always just make promises and our numbers don't show that, yes, if we are talking about operating leverage, is that really playing? If it doesn't, then we can keep talking but no meaning, right? Our numbers actually reflect what we are talking. Our numbers tell you that operating leverage is actually giving us that hockey stick curve, which probably would mean that profits are on a good trajectory and we have the cushion to absorb any credit losses if they have to happen, right? In many ways, not just profits, but even capital. So profit itself is so strong that even if there is a scenario, and I give you a COVID scenario, even if the repeat of that credit cost has to happen, even then we will be profitable, right? And besides that, we have core capital, which is another safety net for a lender. That is 20% is the covenant we give. So that would mean that we can absorb up to 20% of the losses beyond profits, right? So that's a very healthy cushion for any lender. If you look on this slide, I think this is, as I was talking about history, which is what this shows, 12 to 48 to 207, and then just 1 quarter numbers are like significantly higher than even full year profit of a year prior to that. Likewise, AUM growth also has been very stable, very strong. Bhupi mentioned that it is not difficult to grow given the size of the opportunity in the country. But what is more important is how we manage our credit numbers, how we manage collections, how we manage our profitability. And if you look at on all those parameters, we are actually doing quite well and quite stable. In terms of debt, if you look on this slide, I think that is another area where, I mean, by September, I think you would have numbers on next slide. We actually have about 4,500 crore plus of borrowings as an entity. Next slide, Ashish. 4,500 crore borrowings as an entity. And if you look at the breakup will reflect that these are long-term liabilities. 70% plus is what we borrow through term loans, and if you add the working capital and cash credit facilities, that would make it like little over 80%. So that's from banks. We deal with about 35 financial institutions spanning across private sector banks, public sector banks, DFIs, NBFCs, capital market participants. So quite a good spread of a number of lenders we deal with. What this means is that our liability base is diversified and distributed, and it's not concentrated in few players. Then we also have NCDs and PTCs. PTC is a very small number because we just remain in the market given that our leverage is low. We don't do that much on PTCs. Instead of PTCs, we actually do co-lending. We believe that co-lending is a significantly better option compared to PTCs when it comes to operational execution. So we actually do more PTCs, more co-lending than PTCs. NCDs is reflective of capital market borrowings. I mean, that is growing slowly and steadily. That thing will grow even more once our rating gets upgraded. And I mean, I don't want to hazard a guess when that will happen, but as and when that happens over next few quarters or a year, we would have another mode which will probably become super active. So good traction on liabilities overall, and hence if you look at all the pillars when you talk about NBFC, that's risk management, growth, liabilities, profitability. On all parameters, we are giving our best, and that is reflected in numbers. This slide reflects the ALM statement, which is structural liquidity, and we are on a cumulative basis. If I exclude the undrawn kind of loan commitments we have, we would be always positive, and even including those, there is a very minor kind of negative number which comes. That is because we don't take any interest accruals or interest receipts which will happen from those customers. So it's slight bit of anomaly that we are taking whatever is undisbursed, right, full amount into consideration, but whatever we will earn is not taken into consideration. So all in all, very healthy ALM. If you look at initial buckets, which is from 1 month to 3 months to 6 months, they are super positive. I mean, we typically call this as a structurally positive ALM because our liabilities are longer term. And if you look at our assets, our longer tenor assets are funded by either our equity or co-lending, and rest are funded by borrowings from banks and NCDs. Those are typically about 4 to 5 years in tenor when it comes to bank loans, and capital market liabilities will be 18 to 36 months. So if you look at blended, we would be significantly higher than what we have on the asset side. So if I exclude the assets which are through co-lending and which are funded by equity, my asset tenor will be close to about 20-22 months, and liability tenor will be at least about 28-30 months. So that's how we are placed on liability, and hence I think this is another pillar which is important one to see when it comes to safety of money when you are lending to InCred through public bond issue. So quite, I mean, and there is a actual example I can give you of COVID. During COVID period, as I was alluding earlier, there were about 50% people who took moratorium. Even during that period, we were not required to take any moratorium from any of our lenders. In fact, we had some large repayments due at that time on bonds. Everything was done by internal accruals. So that is the strength of ALM, which is time tested for us, and hopefully we continue with that. This slide shows the board of directors. From the management side, it's Bhupinder Singh and myself. What you see in the middle of the slide is a very respected independent board. Ambika Bisla, she has previously served as technical advisor to Ministry of Finance, Department of Financial Services, and she is the CEO of Education NGO. Karnam Sekar, former DMD of SBI, in his last role he was handling the risk management department, and post that he was also MD of IOB Bank, Indian Overseas Bank. Rupa Vora, she is our audit committee chairman, former CFO at IDFC Alternates, and serving in capacity of board member in many companies. Mr. Sankaran Nair Rajgopal, he retired as regional director in RBI, which is just a level below ED, which is a very senior level in RBI. He had held various roles in RBI, and we greatly benefit from his experience. He has also been a nominee director in the board of Bank of Maharashtra previously. And Sunita Gupta, she is the 5th independent director. She has served as executive director and CFO in PNB Guilds, and prior to that in various senior positions in Punjab National Bank. What you see as last 3 names are investor nominees. We have various investors who have a right to appoint board members once they are above a threshold of a particular percentage in terms of their shareholding. One of the consortium is KKR, ADIA and Texas. They have appointed 2 board members, Anil Nagu and Rohan Suri. I think they are strong and experienced in their domain areas. Their experience actually speaks for itself. Very senior guys. They represent our largest minority shareholder. And Vivek Anand is a founder and MD of Oaks Asset Management. They are also one of the large shareholders at InCred. So that's the board composition which Bhupi was alluding to in terms of corporate governance and the strength of board, and that actually complements the top class management team which has been built. And in terms of stability of management team, what you would see is that we have very low single digit attrition when it comes to top people. So that's a reflection of culture which Bhupi alluded to, and the longevity of people in InCred. Ultimately, financial services business is about people. I think that's all from our side. We leave it open to questions, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
If you can look at the issue structure.
Yeah, I think the slide was removed, so I can't look at the slide anymore. I mean, I can talk about the issue. So we have multiple options in issue with the highest XIRR of 10.29%. You have option to invest in 18, 24, and 36 months with different interest repayment options. And there is a division between various categories. Large part of the issue has been earmarked for retail and HNI clients, and very small portion for institutional client. In terms of overall issue, it's 150 crore base size and 150 option to retain oversubscription. Issue opens on 25th October and closes. Scheduled closure is on 7th November. We have an option to close early after the mandatory period of 3 days. That's on the issue. It is rated by CRISIL A+. We are rated overall by CRISIL and CARE, 2 rating agencies. We are required to take 1 rating. We have taken from CRISIL for the issue. And in terms of covenants, what we are giving is gross NP of less than 6%, which is currently at about 2.4, 2.5 range. We are giving a capital adequacy covenant of 20%, which also ties in with the debt to equity covenant we give of 4:1. So these are the covenants we are offering. And in terms of coverage, it's 1.05 times of the interest and principal both. Have I missed anything, Mr. Manglunia? Because I didn't have the slide in front of me.
No, it's perfect, sir. There are 5 series. Series 1 is monthly option. Series 2 is quarterly option for a tenure of 18 and 24 months. Series 3 is 24 months, and that's a monthly coupon. Series 4 is annual coupon for 36 months, which is the annual frequency of the coupon. Series 5, which is a monthly option for a 36 months. All of these are ranging in the coupon range of 9.48% to 10.3%. We can look at the Q&A session now. Will there be funds raised by public issue use? The usage of
I think that is specified in our memorandum, investment memorandum. Large part, I think, has been earmarked for growth and balance for general corporate purpose.
Right. Next question. What will be the InCred strategy to compete with increasing competition?
Bhupi, you want to take? I am not sure if I'm audible to Bhupi, but if he can't hear me, then I will take the question. So if you look at the overall market size, I think as we were mentioning earlier, it's actually quite huge. And competition actually complements what we have to offer and make us more competitive and agile. If you look at our products, I think Bhupi mentioned that we have domain knowledge expertise or a tech advantage in how we do business. So we believe that our ability to execute well and the way our product mix is we will be able to shine through the competition. And given that market size is quite huge, it's not generally a big issue when it comes to most of the lenders, I would say, not just InCred.
Correct. Next question. Other than education loans, is InCred planning to get into any segment of providing loans?
So if you look at our product composition, we have a personal loan, we have education loan, which has two parts. One is student loan going overseas for STEM courses, and second is schools. Then we have SME loans, which has a few components. One is anchor-backed supply chain. Then one is through these platforms like Flipkart, Amazon, and the last part is FI lending. So we have these 6-7 product lines. If you see our evolution, we have over time, I think maybe added one product every 2-3 years. If you look at currently, LAP, which is loan against property, is the latest product which we added about 24 months back. And we have been growing slowly in that. And that is a strategy we follow for most products, that in the initial part, we actually grow slowly in that product so that we can perfect our risk models, perfect our operations, perfect processes. And once everything is in order, then we actually start to grow faster. So you will see over time that this business composition of this product will slightly increase compared to what it is today. And hence, I mean, we believe that with these products, we have good runway for coming few years. And over time, if we feel there is an opportunity in some of the products, maybe we will evaluate and do in a similar manner, that start small and then grow big.
Perfect, sir. Next question. What percentage of funds got utilized from the last NCD issue? What are your plans on how to utilize the funds from this offering?
I think this is very similar to the first question on plans to utilize funding from this offering. As far as the last NCD issue was concerned, we have utilized the entire funds and all have been deployed as was specified in the objects of the NCD issue.
Right. Next question, please. Can you please throw some light on the anchor and escrow-backed lending?
Yeah, so anchor and escrow-backed lending has a few connotations. I think anchor business, as an example, if I give you an example of IT, which is information technology, you would have OEMs, which are like, for example, Lenovo, IBM, Dell, and then you have distributors like Redington, Ingram, Micro, etc. Where we lend to is sub-distributors of these, right? And we do have some kind of arrangement with these anchors, which are these large distributors, which will be either in the form of a stop supply arrangement or sometimes in the form of some guarantee as well, right? So that is how the anchor-backed business works. And in terms of escrow-backed lending, the example which I was giving of Amazon, Flipkart, there is an escrow which gets created in these lending. So we lend to MSMEs who are selling their products on these portals. So there is a tripartite escrow. And I think our MD and CEO mentioned that there is a 1,000 rupee assume order which is there. So the 1,000 rupees will come into that escrow, out of which 200 to 250 will go to Amazon, Flipkart, as has been agreed with the vendor. Then balance about 150 rupees will be used for InCred's EMI. And till InCred EMI for the month is done, we will keep deducting that. Once that is done, then the higher amount goes to the vendor. And balance amount goes to vendor from every order. So what we do in this escrow-backed lending is that we have a control over cash flows. So our EMI recovery happens much faster than what would happen normally. And typically the issue with some of the MSMEs, which are small, right, is that while their intent is good, but by the end of the month, they don't have money left to actually service EMIs, right? And it is just because of them not being financially disciplined. So through this mechanism, that discipline also comes and these vendors benefit greatly.
Right. Next question, please. If you have. What's the average ticket size for the personal loan and student loan? What is the percentage of product mix?
So average ticket size for personal loan is mentioned on our slide. I think it's about 80,000 altogether. And if I look at the median, it will be probably about 2.5 lakhs. Student loan will be close to about 17-18 lakhs in terms of average ticket size. And if you look at the composition is about give and take few percentages. I don't have the exact numbers, but 40% odd will be personal loans, 20% around will be student loan, about 20 to 23% will be SME loans, which is a combination of anchor, escrow, etc. All the products under SME bucket. About schools and lab will be about 7-8%, and about 8-9% will be FI lending.
Perfect, sir. Next question. What is the NIM and the debt equity ratio? And what's the market liquidity of NCDs which got listed a year back?
So I'll answer the first part, and second part I'll leave it to the merchant bankers to answer.
Sure.
On the debt equity, we are currently sub 2. Given that our book size is about 7,500, net worth is about 1,600. So we are just about there in terms of 2. And in terms of NIM, we are slightly about 10%.
About the liquidity in the NCDs which got listed last year back, I am here to say that we have been acting as a market maker in the listed bonds, and there's been always a two-way price which is derived by the market demand and supply equation. So I would be saying that there's been a liquid volumes, and apart from the listed segment of the capital market where the bonds are listed, there's been active trading. But apart from that, in the ICCL and NCCL settlement also, there's been a healthy volume. So in totality, if you look at it before the public issue, the market volume for the InCred NCDs was hardly anything. But after the NCD public issue, the volumes have picked up significantly. And with the second issue, the liquidity will be much more better. And I'm voluntarily saying that we will continue to do the market making in terms of ensuring that people who wants to buy and miss the IPO can buy it in the secondary market at appropriate prices, and people who need to liquidate will have a price to liquidate the stocks without any hassles. Thank you. Any more questions? What was the percentage of allotment in the HNI retained in last issuances? I can answer this. I think out of the total issue subscription, as we see, there has been a over 77% allocation in the retail or individual category, and majority of the issue was allocated, and that has encouraged us to ensure that we allocate a higher allocation in the individual category, which is HNI and retail. So HNI and retail have been the major focus for doing the public issue and getting the better allotment in the issue. Thank you. I think there are no more questions. And
thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar, and we request your wholehearted support and look forward to keeping continuous engagement with you. Thank you.
I thank everyone from the webinar joinees and the investors community for their presence in the launch of InCred Debt Public Issue webinar. And I would like to reiterate the issue terms wherein the base issue is 150 crore with a green issue of 150 crore. Aggregating a total size of 300 crore, the issue offers a simple structure of 3 tenors, 18 months, 24 months, and 36 months. It has the option to get the interest payment frequency as a monthly, quarterly, or annual. In one option, we have a quarterly amortization, means the principal and the coupon will be payable to the investors on a quarterly basis. So the tenor gets redeemed a little more early. There are total 5 series having offered, including monthly interest payments in the option both 18 and 24 months, and 36 months tenor quarterly interest payment option, and 24 months and aggregating redemption of the quarterly basis with 24 months tenor, and annual payment after 36 months tenor with a staggered redemption on annual basis over 36-month tenor. The NCD offers attractive coupon rates with a coupon ranging from 9.48% to 10.3% in total 5 series. Of the total issue, 85% is allocated to the HNIs and retail investors, as I mentioned, and the allotment of the NCD shall be on the first come, first served basis. We wish InCred Financial Services Limited the success of the forthcoming public issue of NCD, as it was in the last time also. On behalf of InCred Financial Services Limited, JM Financials Limited, and InCred Capital Wealth Portfolio Managers Limited, I would like to express our gratitude for the participation and interest shown in the public issue of NCDs, and request your gracious support to make this issue a huge success. Thank you all. With this, we conclude.